What's going on, everybody? This is Travis, your online trade mentor. This is another episode of Trade with Travis. Let's go ahead and get through the disclaimer as the market is going to open up in the next couple minutes. I'm not a CTA, so I'm not going to tell you whether to buy or to sell. What I'm going to do is teach you education. And from the education, you can be able to make your own informed decision. I understand that forex trading involves risk. It involves risk of being able to make money. Also involves risk of being able to lose money. So please keep that in mind. And understand that past performance is not indicative of future results, which means that if you end up making money yesterday, it's not promised that you're not going to end up making money today. So with that being said, as we go through and take a look at the charts, what we'd like to be able to do is take a look at markets that are trending. I love to be able to find things that have time frame alignment, meaning that the weekly and the daily are trading in the same direction. That allows you to be able to understand what the direction is going to end up being. Then after that, we end up taking a look at overbought and oversold areas when it comes down to stochastics. We end up taking a look at voids and markets. And based off of that, we end up taking our entries. And our entries are based off of counter trend line breaks and economic news that is back along with it. With that being said, as we go through and take a look at everything, because the market is already opened up and we're already pretty much entrenched in some of our pairs last night. If you're a part of the Carter Cow Academy, you actually end up getting your pending orders yesterday. You want to be a part of the Carter Cow Academy, all you have to do is go to cartercowcapital.com/start here and be able to get some more information. As my son screams in the background, like always, it's never a live stream unless my son screams in the background. um, but today it's going to end up being a trader say there's not really that much news when it comes down to the overall market. So let's keep that in mind. I am going to go through and take a look at what's happening with all of these pairs right now. I want to talk about what I end up looking at and what we've been talking about for pretty much a very long time. Give me 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. So we've been talking about this for a while. I'm not even gonna look at the big three yet. I'm gonna go ahead and get into what I'm seeing right now when it comes down to this overall market. If you have been trading this with me, you know that US 30, Nas 100, and DAX are in large consolidations, and they finally end up breaking out of that large consolidation early. You know that I'm more of a bond breakout trader, and I love being able to trade voids in the markets. And right now we're in a very large void where the market could potentially fall down to. I think the next area where the market could necessarily give us a little bit of headache could probably be at 30,150, but that's another 120 points away. That is almost guaranteeing you overall movement that you can be able to get based off of what we're looking at right now. So let's go ahead and talk about what ended up happening, why I ended up taking a move, what you can be able to do right now, because the market is not going to end up being open up. Well, the market is not going to fully open up until the next 17 minutes. And I think that the market is probably going to end up having a big push down. It probably might end up pushing all the way down to the B, which is at 29,500 before it ends up having somewhat of a big push back up to the upside. You can see that we're basically in this previous low void area, and the market actually ended up stopping right around 30,160. So 30,150 would end up being that area when it comes down to movement. So from a weekly perspective, the market has been pushing down toward the overall downside. Last week, we ended up talking about how the market ended up giving us a little bit of consolidation, and I felt like this market was due to keep on dropping when it came down to the movement because the daily was in the sell zone based off of that movement. You look at the daily was in the sell zone. We end up seeing a high volume consolidation with a evening star at the top of it, and since then we've seen the market has failed. Keep that in mind when the market is in the sell zone. When it comes down to the stochastic, typically you're talking about 7 to 11 candlesticks overall movement to the downside. The market has already retraced up to the 38.2, which made it a very simple trade to be able to say that the market was going to continue falling down for its overall movement. Hello? Everybody, give me 1 quick second. I'm sorry. Okay, sorry about that. But dailies in the sell zone, we have one, two, three, four, five candlesticks. We're probably gonna end up looking at maybe 6 or 7 more candlesticks to the downside potentially when it comes down to overall movement. Obviously, we're getting a bigger movement right here because the market is outside of the consolidation. The question is because this is the first time that it's broken out. Typically, when you end up having a breakout, you end up having a retest. So my question today is, are we going to end up seeing this market start to push up right around 9:30 and try to retest before it keep on falling down, or are we going to see this thing just fall down because that was a retest a few hours ago when it came down to that movement? We won't know that until 9:30 bill actually ends up hitting. I am kind of excited to be able to see that. Currently, right now, up pretty big when it comes down to this movement. Well, right around 70, right around $7,800 when it comes down to that movement. We have a couple take profits that we're expecting to be able to go to when it comes down to this at 30,000 or 30,050, 30,000. 574, and then obviously 26 100 and 29 700. So I'm going to try to see if I can ride this out as much as I possibly can. If this thing kind of gets away from me, then I'm not going to sit up there and not take that amount of money that we end up having. So just want to keep that in mind when it comes down to that. If you are not in at this particular point, what I will end up doing is paying attention to see if we can be able to get another retest. If we can be able to get another retest, and you have another movement from there. But once again, like I said, I'm not going to be. I'm going to see how this market kind of reacts. I hope we don't get a large push up to the upside because that'll make me kind of exit out of the trades a little bit earlier, capitalize on that profit, and then after that, look for the market to be able to fall down overall when it comes down to that movement. But there you go. That is the first trade of the day when it comes down to US 30. Just keep that in mind on the movement on how it's actually going. Let's take a look at DAX. DAX has failed out of this large scale consolidation once again. Like I end up saying, we have a breakout, but we have not had the retest. The retest was kind of like right here, but there's not a true full retest when the market was actually open, where the market was actually humming at 9:30. So I want to make sure that we end up paying attention to that based off of the 15 minute. The 15 minute is still moving to the downside. I'm hoping that we end up getting that full scale movement because if you look at DAX, DAX has a bigger drop than any of the other moves when it comes down to this. We have to go back to the daily to see what's happening for this movement. The market could fall all the way down to the B at 12,440, and then after that, obviously the D extension will be at 12,000. I mean, it will be at 10,380 when it comes down to that movement. And literally, I would say the best position to be able to get in if you're trying to be able to place in a pending order at this particular point moving forward will probably end up being 12,480. 12,480 is a few points away. I would just kind of look and see how that market kind of reacts off of that before being able to make a decision on that movement. So there you go. Give me 1 second. Okay, so that's German 30. We'll take a look at US 30. US 30. I think I've already said US 30. Let's talk about Nas. Nas has made the same move, but it actually has started to give a little bit of a U-turn. Here's the problem with Nas and the way that I'm looking at it at this particular point. Um, if you look at it, Nas is still inside of his consolidation area, still inside of that deep pocket when it comes down to movement. So when I'm looking at a pair or saying, okay, well, which one do I want to, if I was to get out of one of them, which one would it end up being? It would end up being Nas. Only reason why I say that is because that um, the market has had its breakout. The market has not moved down to the overall low of that breakout movement, but it is retesting at this high volume node and basically pushing at the bottom side of it. Now, for people that are not trading, this may be an opportunity to possibly be able to look at being able to get in if this market truly breaks a counter trend line break. If this market starts to settle and start to go back into consolidation, then I wouldn't hesitate on being able to say, hey, I want to go ahead and just I want to go ahead and just let it prove itself, and then after that, be able to make a move from there. Um, and that is what I would be paying attention to overall when it comes down to Nas. Let's show what we're looking at when it comes down to Nas right now. If you notice, Nas is inside of our blue consolidation box. Because Nas is inside of our blue consolidation box, this market could pop up in this high volume node right around 11,665. If it does push up in that area, then I think it will go back up to the top side of basically 11,780. If it breaks to the downside and remains to be below it, then that would be a great move. But if it stays in that area, then I would not be interested in being able to take that trade at all. So I end up getting out of my profitable positions already. End up making 61, 186, and 376 respectively when it came down to those overall positions. Currently, right now, we are up 2,900 when it comes down to those pairs. It's very good to be able to see. But I can start to see that the market is starting to push up on this one. I'm actually going to get out of these. Well, no. We got about 8 minutes before the market actually opens up. I almost expect, if we're looking at how the market is kind of reacting right now, I almost expect that the market will pop up first before falling down. And the reason why I say that is because if we're looking at even this position right here, the market has not had a full retest. And this is the first time that it's truly broken out of that consolidation. So I am going to be very cautious about the positions that I am in. I'm probably going to end up taking half of my profit now on some of these crossover sales because if they do go back up, it'll be at break even. If it does fall down, then it'll be a great move. Obviously, we'll be very happy about that. But I'm not going to end up deciding that. I'm not going to truly decide that until 9:30. I hope that I don't give away a little bit too much when it comes down to that movement. When it comes down to that, for the people that have been trading with me, obviously you know that I don't like giving up profit. If we have to get out of it just because it's not there, then we have to get out of it. There's nothing that we can be able to do about it when it comes down to that movement. Potential areas where this market could have a little bit of hesitation. Currently, right now, we've broken below 30,324. That was the last consolidation that ended up happening on June 22nd and 21st and 22nd. We take a look at the next consolidation area, the next fall area will end up being about what ended up happening from June 15th and from June 15th to June 20th. So that will be the next areas where I think that the market could potentially fall down to before being able to get out. But other than that, my boys are not going to let me have fun and be able to do this today because I got them locked in with me today. So I'm going to go ahead and call it a day. Hopefully everybody ends up having a great day of trading. I know we didn't get to go through a lot, but hopefully everybody ends up having a great day of trading today. Like always, plan your trade your plan. Everyone, take it easy. Bye. All right, bye.